I'm Em Sutter, better known as Pints and Panels.
And I'm Don Tess, better known as the Dawn of Beer.
Welcome to episode 77 of the All About Beer podcast. Every 2 weeks, we talk with leading experts and take a deep dive into one topic in beer. This week on the show, we'll be talking about summer seasonals, IPA, lager, and what makes a beer perfect for summer. Visit allaboutbeer.com and follow us on social media at allaboutbeer. And if you're feeling generous, please visit allaboutbeer.com/support to support this show and others. So, Don.
Yes.
I feel like you're going to give me a weird answer, but what beers do you
Why
enjoy?
would you think I would
I
give you a
don't,
weird
what? I
answer?
have no idea. That's crazy talk. What beers do you like in the summer?
Um, it's probably what everybody else would say, like lighter, crisper, quaffable, to use that
Ooh, quaffable.
term. Bright
Mm-hmm.
flavors. Does that phrase make
I
sense?
think,
Bright
yeah.
flavors?
Yeah, I think that makes
Um,
sense.
Yeah, fruity kind of,
Mm.
I am actually happy to drink when I can sometimes be in the mood for, a stout or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in the summer. But yeah, like light, bright, refreshing, quaffable, moreish. Is that another
Moorish is a
word?
great word. You're really just
Yeah.
rolling out all the beer
I have my
terminology.
thesaurus out. How about
Oh,
you, Em?
okay. It's got to be above X amount of degrees, but I really like in the summer, it's the only time I like sours, really,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
is
yeah, I get
is
it.
when it's really hot out. It's the only time I'm like, you know what I want is a sour. And then just yeah, like light lagers, pilsners, things that really are refreshing. I'm really excited to talk to both the breweries that we have on about what makes like a summer lager and then what makes a pale ale for summer. I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to help support the All About Beer podcast, reach out to podcast@allaboutbeer.com. Speaking of supporting the show, here's a word from our sponsors.
This program is brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, where trailblazing runs in the family. From crafting a movement with their iconic pale ale to taking the IPA haze craze nationwide with Hazy Little Thing, it's an adventurous spirit you can taste in every sip. Find your next favorite beer wherever fine beverages are sold. With new brews for every season, there's always something to discover. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, still family owned, operated, and argued over.
Ariana, Callista, Tradition, Mule Melon, Select. RahrBSG sources these German hop varieties and more directly from German growers through their cooperative organization, HVG. Founded in 1953, HVG has grown to be one of the most important hop suppliers worldwide. In addition to supplying a large part of the German hop crop to brewers worldwide, HVG also processes hops into pellets, extract, and other hop products. Where would beer be without HVG? For the best selection, contact RahrBSG.
Mari Kemper, alongside her husband Will, is a pioneering figure in the American craft beer scene, co-founding Thomas Kemper Brewery in 1984 before establishing Chuckanut Brewery in 2008. She is best known for her tenacious spirit and dedication to crafting traditional European-style lagers and ales. Nathan Crane, MBA and BSME, is the Director of Operations at Chuckanut Brewery, a 15-year industry veteran, 6-time GABF and 2-time World Beer Cup judge. Nathan has beer and wine experience across Washington, Oregon, California, and Texas. Welcome to the show, Maria and Nathan.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So we're having you guys here because you make a summer pale ale that's 5%. It says dry and refreshing. I'm gonna play devil's advocate and just say, isn't that just a pale ale? So what makes this beer a pale ale versus other pale ales? What are
Or
you
summer
doing to,
pale ale.
yeah,
Yeah.
what or summer pale ale? Yes, thank you, Don. What makes this summer pale ale versus other pale ales?
So we try to keep bitterness a little bit lower and include really fruity hops because everybody likes to be out in the sun and smell and taste those expressive tropical hops and notes that make you feel like you're having a great summer day.
Ah,
When did you guys start brewing this beer?
I don't remember actually. When
I think
was it?
before me, and that was 5 years ago. So
And I read that you do a different one each year. What do you remember, Mari, what the first one was that you brewed, and how did this come about, this summer pale ale?
Well, we wanted to do a pale ale, and it was summer when we were thinking about it, and we thought, well, let's do a summer pale ale, and we can switch it up each year with the kind of hops that we're using in order to just give it a little bit of difference each year, so customers would want to see what's it like this year. So every year it's been a different combination of hops. I don't even remember what it is this year.
I believe it's Comet and Strata,
Okay.
if I remember correctly, but I could also be wrong.
and like, how do you make that choice every year?
So we try to allow the brewers to have some creative input because a lot of our beers are set. The Kempers have made recipes, and we make sure that those stay stable throughout time. So there's not a ton of variability in what we do on a day-to-day basis, and so we try to give some creative input to the brewers, and this is one of those beers where we can change up the hops, and that's part of the DNA of this brand. So we ask around and see who wants to have some input, and show them the list of hops that are available, and just steer them towards something that is expressive and fruity to try to transport people to that tropical summer feeling.
So it sounds like this was kind of designed from the beginning to be a little bit different from, just a pale ale, as Em had said. Do you consider summer pale ale to be a style?
That's a good question. I guess it would be for us since we do a pale ale, but that one is more of a traditional, more classical, uses the more classical Washington hops, whereas this particular one is way more expressive in the hop category, and we do a different combination of them too. So even if it may be the same hops or a lot of the same hops, maybe the quantity is shifted slightly, or when the additions are made, they are done with different hops. So it gives us a little bit more variety each from year to year. We don't make this one during the winter. In the winter, we might make a pale ale, but we won't make a summer pale ale, and the use of the hops are different.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So beer is always transporting us somewhere or enhancing our experience, especially in summer, because summer has a real big vibe. I know like in Washington where you guys are, what's the weather like there? Is it dry and or is it rainy, or what's the
It
are
was
you
dry.
it was dry.
Funny that you
Yeah.
asked today after being dry for quite a while. It is totally overcast, misting. I mean,
Oh, okay.
some days we need the summer pale ale to pick us up.
So I guess my question is like normally it's not misty, you guys, it's usually dry, but how does this beer like capture summer for you? I know, is it just the like fruity notes in the hops, or is there something else that the consumer is looking for? Because when they hear summer, they think outdoors, sun, baseball, barbecue, stuff like that.
I would say the body is a little bit drier than our typical pale to try to keep it crisp
Hmm.
and light, but enough malt characteristic to hold to be a backdrop and hold those hops, right? Because you can't have it like a super dry Japanese lager and then try to throw hops onto it. It's clunky and doesn't work. So there's a balance there between the body and the hops, but I would say a little bit drier than our typical pale.
Hmm.
Bring some levity.
Yeah, usually the pale ale has probably a little more body as well, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Crystal malt body or?
Crystal malt?
In our pale,
Yeah.
We typically tend to shy away from Crystal unless
Yeah.
we're making an English beer. I started off in the industry back way before the buyout at Elysian. Dick Cantwell hired me. And one of the things he liked to use in a lot of his hobby beers was C60 or like a C15 and a Munich. And Will doesn't tend to use the Crystal malts unless we're making English, like I said, which is not often. We haven't made one since I've been here in 5 years, but Chuckanut used to make about a third of the beers in the first couple of years. If you go back through the recipes, were English. Will tends to go towards the Munich malts to add some body and some structure to the beer. So
Okay.
that's what we'll do in our typical pale, but this summer is a little bit lighter and more like carafoamy than anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. And like, when do you start thinking about the next year's pale ale? You talk about, using different hops. And so do you do some test batches, as early as January or February and start thinking about what you want to do each year? Or how does the formulation happen each year?
So I'd say we start talking about it about February. We've made beer for so long, the Kempers and myself and our coworkers here, that and this recipe, the backbone of it, like I was saying previously, doesn't really change. It's the hops. So we'll just go for it and try a new hop. We have a lot of friends in the industry that love to make hoppy beers, especially in the area, Holy Mountain, Cloudburst, Aslan, Colshan, everybody up in Bellingham and Seattle. So we'll ask around and see, take some surveys and some polls, maybe go try some beers. It gives us a good reason to go hang out with friends and talk. But we will just ask around and then pick something from one of our favorite hop suppliers, including Hollingberry and Haas and Hopsteiner. They usually have some hops that they are really excited about too. So it's really great to ask them and talk to them about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it feels so collaborative and like thoughtful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to something like this, we do want to make it collaborative because it's a special thing. We're only actually brewing it once all year, but we do it every year. So it's kind of cool because it gives us a chance to like figure out, oh, what are we going to do this year? That kind of thing.
I do want to make the
go ahead.
observation as well that another summery thing is friendship, right? So I like this collaborative
Oh,
nature.
Don.
You didn't know I was a little sap, did you?
No, oh, that was charming. I was gonna just ask a question about capacity, but you went into the friendship. I like that. When do you guys, if you're only brewing it once, when do you brew it and how much and where does it go? Is it taproom only or is it going out into distro? What's the...
So we typically our system is set for, or our layout is set for like 4 to 5 to 6 weeks on beers. So if we're bringing this out we try to bring it out in Mayish.
Okay.
So that's going to be like March.
Usually, actually, we in the tap room we're looking at June. That's when we released it.
Yeah.
I think this year. Sometimes in the past we've released it for the solstice. Remember?
Oh,
And
okay.
so it just depends on when it's ready to go and when we're able to get it in the schedule too. Because we are a small brewery. We up till now, the past couple of years, we've been up to 4,000 barrels a year. We're hoping this year with the new introduction of our canning line that we can get to 6,000 barrels.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're stepping it up.
That's 50% growth. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah. So, and actually the beer is now being taken over to Colorado and California, which has helped those numbers. Just the cans right now.
Right.
So this year we were working on, I don't know how many barrel brew.
I think 20? We did 20. So the original system up in Bellingham that we brought down and we we reinstalled just came online at the end of last year. So we weren't able to do anything less than 20 barrels for the last few years.
Yeah.
While we were recommissioning that old system. Now we can do 10, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 40 to 60. Will vacillates whether or not he'd get an 80 barrel. It depends on his thought process of the day and his scheming. You'll sometimes see him looking at the rafters for a couple hours and moving his hands around. You go over and ask him what he's doing, and he's thinking about whether an 80 would work and the flow mechanics during fermentation. So I don't know if we'll ever go 80s, but this year I believe we did 20, maybe 40. I think it was 20. Yeah.
20.
Yeah. In the future, we'll probably do like some combinations, step it up a little bit and do 30, especially as we get the canning line online, like Mari was just talking about, and we start doing off-premise into grocery stores. We're slowly trickling into that avenue, that sales avenue. But as we do that, I can see this going into a 40 or a 60 pretty easily.
Okay.
It sells really well, for sure.
Oh, nice.
People look for it, and I don't even know. I think we're done with our kegs.
It's
been
already gone
since mid-July. The kegs have, but we still have
Wow.
cases of summer left in cans.
We pulled the last 2 cases from the bag yesterday for front of house.
There you go.
Oh, wow. That's fast.
It's kind of like kind of have to time it around around here. We have a plant that's a weed, but the natives used to use to tell where you were in summer. It's called fireweed. So it's kind of spindly, and it goes from these greenish arrowhead leaves or like oval leaves, and then as you go up, it goes to these really bright fuchsia flowers, and the flower stem at the top starts flowering from the bottom, and as it goes towards the top, you know that you're getting towards the end of summer. Was how they were telling time, and it still works. As soon as it blooms, I'm like, summer's over, but actually summer's just beginning. So it's kind of around that timeline that we want the summer pale to go out, right? You don't want it sticking around into the fall. So
yeah, we need to move on to fest pretty soon.
Fair. On your website, you mentioned summer foods like burgers and whatnot, and you say this beer pairs really well with like classic summer fare. Does that come into play when you're building the recipe each year? And how so?
Not always. I think it's more, you've got the beer and you think what kind of food would go well with it. And, the shellfish is really abundant up here in the summertime. And then we have the salmon and the heavier, we have the halibut. And I could see, those more richer, oilier fish being beautiful with this, because of course that brightness and hoppiness, it kind of cleans the palate in a certain way, and it's a little bit of the citrus, which you always want to put on your seafood anyway.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I like that.
Nate's a good cook too, so he's got ideas.
I would say that it pairs well with that stuff because you're able to get hops in there, but the way that we put hops in, we put expressive hops in later into the hot side, and we focus more on late hot side addition and dry hopping. So we're not trying to pick up a ton of bitterness, right? So you're still being able to pair it with citrusy flavors and not having that cacophony of acid and bitterness. So I think some of that goes into or speaks to the recipe formulation in that way.
Okay. Outside of your own, what do you personally look for in a summer beer? Like, are there others that you enjoy?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question. Because we make a lot of beers around here, and a lot of them are very light and crisp and easy to drink. And, like right now, I'm looking over here at the sign. We have the Chuck Light, we have the Kolsch, we have the Pilsner, the Mexican style lager, the Japanese style lager, and we have now a hoppy lager, which is delightful. It was a small batch on that system that we just reinstated, the 10 barrel. And so we don't have a whole lot of it, but it came out pretty sweet. I mean, people are really enjoying it. So for me, I can't say which one I like the most. It just depends on my mood.
Yeah, but I liked all the kind of flavor descriptors you just provided. I like
Yeah.
that. Nate?
I would say something like Chris, if we're talking generalization, something that I could drink through 500 milliliters of in a brief conversation, and I'm ready for another one, right? Just standing
Yeah.
around in the sun, hanging out with friends. Something that you could have a few of in the few hours that you're hanging outside having a barbecue. Um, if we're talking specifically, my fave right now is Chuck Light. It's gold and silver medal winning at GABF in the light lager category. We're really proud of it. We don't get to make it a lot because we have so many other brands that are taking up volume before the 10 barrel went back online. But now that the 10 barrel is back online, we're able to fit it back into schedule. And I think it's an underdog or a relative unknown but great beer that we have in the lineup that I'm looking forward to making more of. It's 3.5%.
It's
Yeah,
an excellent, it's an
3 I think
excellent
it's
beer.
3.8. But the interesting thing is John Hull's cookbook used that beer for, I'm thinking it was a salad that he paired with it. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would make sense.
I
yeah,
don't really trust
and
John Hall, but yeah.
Yeah. So fun fact, when you guys won gold, I was on the judging panel for that.
Oh,
you
excellent.
were.
So
Okay.
you're welcome.
Thank you very
you.
much. Yeah. What's it? Temple and family came up to us and said they were on the medal table.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, he
I
was.
think Beechwood came over too. And he was
Gordon
there.
Strong, I believe, was also there. It
Oh,
was
cool.
an all-star table. And
Yeah.
yeah, not to toot my own horn, but it was an
We
excellent,
appreciate it. Thank
it
you
was a
very much.
lovely, it's a really, really great beer.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the program today to talk about the summer pale ale and summer beers. If people want to reach out to you, what's your social media and website so they can do that?
Well, we have our, I think it's under, we're so funny, we don't really know, but I think it's Chuckanut Brewery for Instagram, and for Facebook, it's Chuckanut Beer, I think.
Okay.
But if all they have to do is search Chuckanut and it should come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk summer with us, and cheers. Thanks so much.
Now I'm thirsty.
Yeah,
Cheers.
I know.
Cheers to summer.
Yay.
Fall is on our horizon over here in the great Northwest.
Thanks, y'all. Happy summer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll be right back with Threes head brewer Josh Penny right after these messages.
This program is brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, where trailblazing runs in the family. From crafting a movement with their iconic pale ale to taking the IPA haze craze nationwide with Hazy Little Thing, it's an adventurous spirit you can taste in every sip. Find your next favorite beer wherever fine beverages are sold. With new brews for every season, there's always something to discover. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, still family-owned, operated, and argued over.
Ariana, Callista, Tradition, Yule Melon, Select. RahrBSG sources these German hop varieties and more directly from German growers through their cooperative organization, HVG. Founded in 1953, HVG has grown to be one of the most important hop suppliers worldwide. In addition to supplying a large part of the German hop crop to brewers worldwide, HVG also processes hops into pellets, extract, and other hop products. Where would beer be without HVG? For the best selection, contact RahrBSG.
Josh Penny joined Threes as their head brewer in November of 2024 after moving from Los Angeles, where he was head brewer at Highland Park Brewery, where he led the team to 4 gold medals at the 2024 Great American Beer Festival and the coveted Brewery of the Year award. At Threes, Josh oversees production out of the Brooklyn Brewery, creating new recipes and working closely with Matt Levy, Director of Production, on tweaking existing recipes and continuing to push Threes as an industry leader. After graduating from UC Davis in 2016, Josh landed a production job at Golden Road in LA, learning on a 50-barrel brew house with a centrifuge, and then moving on to Beechwood Brewery in Huntington Beach, California, before landing at Highland Park Brewery for the remainder of his time on the West Coast. All of these experiences made Josh into the well-rounded brewer and team manager he is today. Welcome to the show, Josh.
How's it going?
Oh, just summer. And we're here to talk about it's
And
hot.
the living is easy.
Yeah. So it's summer and it's hot, or it's at least hot where I live, which is
Same here.
close to you in New York City.
Hmm.
So I want to ask you a question about Shapeless Days, which is billed as a summer lager.
Hmm.
Um, I have questions about that because like I'll reach for a golden lager in the summer like most people. What makes this beer quote unquote summer? Because I've looked at the grain bill and the hop profile and I'm just like that's a German Pilsner.
Yeah.
So how are you guys using the word summer to brew a summer lager? What sets this apart?
I mean, obviously summer beers should be on the lighter side, but they don't need to finish below one Plato for that to happen.
Mhm.
It should still be in balance. And you don't just want some really thin, watered down beer in the summertime just because it is hot outside. You still want flavor and punchiness from hops, and you still want some texture from the malt. And so it's kind of built to be obviously a lower ABV kind of crushing beer with some citrusy top notes from the hopping and lighter malts. Obviously, we're not using any dark malts or something like this, but
Hmm.
um, it's all really just about striking balance with the bitterness and the flavor intensity and the body as well, so that it does have some substance to it, and it's not just this really thin kind of watered down uh, thing that you can crush back.
So you mentioned a few things there, like, finishing gravity and texture and everything. For the average beer consumer, they're not brewers, they're not thinking of these things specifically. So when you put summer, in the name of a beer or on a can, what do you think the consumer thinks, and how are you communicating what you just said to the consumer? And maybe the word summer is it.
Yeah, I mean, I think summer does invoke feelings of like freshness and lightness, and citrus especially is kind of always what I kind of trend to when I think about like a summer beer. Has something, not even if there's actual lemon peel or grapefruit or something in it, but just has this evocative feeling of something bright and zesty and zippy. And I think putting summer as the sort of descriptor for this type of lager helps to convey that in a quick way rather than saying, oh, these hops are like pretty bright and citrusy. You can kind of like jump right to that there's going to be some like citrusy floral aspects to something that has, I guess, summer in there. And as far as like sort of finishing gravity goes, it's like it's uh, again just back to having some substance to it. I don't expect that people are wanting something that's super thin. They want some flavor. So I think summer just kind of encapsulates a lot of all that.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of breweries fall into the trap of summer and they just make something really watery and they're like, "Oh, you'll crush it." Like,
I think less and less nowadays because
okay.
just beer has shifted in so many different directions over the years, and I think the biggest part of that is consumer knowledge.
Mm,
People know more what they're drinking these days. They have a lot more kind of education, whether they realize it or not, I guess. But a lot of it is people being more aware of what they're drinking. These days people talk about the shifting of markets, and craft beer consumption is somewhat down overall, but it's because people are making, I think, more educated choices now, and so you can't get away with um, brewing something that someone's not going to want because they're smarter than that, and they're going to kind of pick up on like, oh, this brewer's not even trying. I'm just going to
mm.
pass, and I'll find something better. Um, so I think a lot of that is based on just consumer education getting stronger and people knowing kind of what they're looking for.
Do you do anything different to market these beers? Like, do they go to different places? Are you trying to reach new audiences with summer beers? So, like, I don't know, I'm thinking like festivals in the summer or like pop-ups
Ballpark.
or like do they go to the baseball stadium? Like where can if are you trying something different with summer beers to get because summer is like I feel like there are more people drinking because beer in summer are like they hold hands.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
there's a romance there. And I just I wonder if you guys use that to your potential to put it in new places.
Um, I think as far as I don't want to speak for like our distribution because I don't deal with a lot of that stuff, but
Hmm.
I do think in general some of our bigger accounts that carry our stuff year round and maybe they like kind of rotate through seasonals. Like it's helpful that this is a seasonal because if we have a seasonal tap line somewhere, this is kind of what they're getting, and we're kind of emphasizing like these are the beers for this time of year, and I think people kind of respond to that well, and they do well at those locations. Places like Governor's Island, where we have our outpost there for the summertime, it's obviously we want to have a diverse profile out there, so we have some mixed culture stuff as well. But a lot of it is stuff like Shapeless Days, and we kind of, I don't. It's definitely somewhat intentional as far as like where we're focusing to send stuff like this, and I think a lot of it is our bigger accounts that will just kind of continue to buy this while they crush through it.
Mm.
When you put summer in a beer name or on a label, do you run the risk of it not selling through? So it's September and nobody wants to buy a summer beer anymore? And is it worth the risk? Like there's got to be
Yeah,
some risk there.
I mean, as far since I've been here, at least like this is the only one that actually does sit. Like we don't have a winter lager or a spring ale or anything like that.
Yeah.
There are beers that are designed for those times of year, like Oktoberfest and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there is I think in general with the term summer, it also kind of means like approachable. So it's not like you don't just because it is summertime, it doesn't like it's not like you can only drink this in the summertime. Like it's an approachable beer year round. It's just that we're kind of focusing on the aspects of a light, easy crusher for the summertime. And kind of like what Em said, like summer and beer go hand in hand. So it's like kind of a natural thing. And also to her point is that people do, I think, drink more in the summertime. So it's helpful that it's all about timing too. It's just like, we want to make sure that we're stopping production before the summer's over, obviously.
Yeah.
So that by the time the last few batches are out, it's still warm outside and we're not sitting on too much product. So I think it is a risk, but I think it's riskier if you were to call something like a winter lager or a fall something or other. And I think summer gives us a little bit more leeway.
Okay. Do you ever have to buy back product?
I
Hopefully
have
no.
not.
I feel I was gonna say
Hopefully not.
every brewery really has to buy back product. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean, at some point it has to happen.
Yeah.
I just don't have the notes on that in front of me.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I know you're the brewer and whatnot, but
Mhm.
do you know how well this beer sells versus your other seasonals? Is it like does it do really well versus let's say the winter beer or the Oktoberfest?
This is our first summer with this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's
so
new.
Oh,
it was different last year.
Okay.
But I think this, if I had to guess, I'd say that this one probably does the best of the
Mm.
seasonals, just because of the fact that it is like it's in many more places in the summertime because some places are somewhat seasonal. Governor's Island, for instance.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I think that more accounts probably get this one compared to a non-warmer month uh, type of situation.
even at
Yeah.
the individual consumer level, people are crushing more
Yeah,
of these than they are
Yeah,
the
and
exactly.
line.
people are outside and there's a lot of like Governor's Island, there's a lot of temporary summer
Hmm.
things that are only open in the summer,
Right.
like beaches and whatnot. So I feel like that's a huge opportunity for, like there's yeah, I mean That makes sense to
And
me.
right, and you just think about the typical, a consumer in the summertime drinking 3 of these versus maybe 1 or 2 of a winter lager or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna have more of that just because
That's a very good point. That is a very, very good point.
So Josh, I'm kind of a cynical guy, and when I
What?
see
Come on.
when I see summer on a beer label, oh, that's just marketing hype. And you kind of convinced me that, you actually do think about, what summer means and design a beer. Do you always build a seasonal beer from the ground up, or do you take an existing beer and just kind of tweak it and make it more summery or wintry, or how do you
um,
think about
it's
this?
it's kind of a little bit of both. Like Volition is our win. I mean, it's we don't call it a winter lager or anything like that, but it's a Czech dark lager or a German dark lager that we make um, in the colder months, and that is sort of like our winter seasonal. Um, we don't like market it as much as something that would have the word winter on it, but that's just sort of like how we're kind of operating. And so for Shapeless Days, like we wanted to really convey like this is what we have come up with as far as like an easy drinking summertime beer. And even though we do have a fall seasonal and a spring seasonal and a winter one, there's less um, there's not as much emphasis on it as being like, oh, here's the new seasonal out. It just kind of like we kind of want them all to all flow together because it's important that people drink seasonally. And this is my first time back on the East Coast in like 10 years, so it's like I was in LA for almost 10 years, and so there aren't really seasons there. So
Hmm.
here it
Fair.
is kind of cool to see the shift, the consumer shift that I used to be used to from growing up here to how things are changing based on what people are consuming at the time as well.
That's an
When,
interesting thought.
yeah,
Like, do LA breweries release
have
summer seasonals? Because
or
it's
like
always summer
Texas
there,
or Florida or
right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
sorry, am I interrupted?
no,
Florida's
they must.
well, Florida's a funny one because like they there's such a concentration of like I mean like Hunapu Day is there, and so it's like tons of breweries that make just really huge imperial stouts with all these adjuncts and like have festivals in the
And it's like
summertime.
a
And it's
million
like
degrees
they're
out.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's there's some spots in the U.S. that kind of doesn't track um, with that sort of like seasonality, and it's kind of interesting to see that.
That's something I've never even thought about where like, because I live in New England and I have 4 very different seasons.
Hmm.
And I drink to those seasons, but like if I lived in Florida, yeah, like I feel like my expectations of what I want to drink would be different. And then yeah, give me that like angry chair oil can,
Yeah.
whatever, like, and they do drink a lot of like those beers are really popular down there.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, this is why beer is so great because it's so regional.
It's very
And
Mm.
regional.
and you don't even think about
Mm-mm.
like it until it kind of approaches you and you're like, oh, wait, yeah, you would drink differently than me
Yeah,
because
I mean,
of where we live.
one style that does massively well might do really shitty like 50 miles from there. When I worked at Beechwood, I was in Huntington. We were brewing there, and then there were certain demographics in the Orange County, so we'd send stuff, not even that many, within 10 to 20 miles east of us, that would just crush like all summer long. And like and some of the stuff we like couldn't really sell out of the tap room, or it would be a slow move. So
Really?
we like pushed all that stuff that way, and it's just like it's so weird how different demographics.
10 miles. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
That's
crazy. It's just like there's something about the regionality of like it's just so different everywhere.
That's amazing.
yeah. People's preference for beer, be it
Mhm.
summer or whatnot, are always it's that's why beer rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like it makes it hard to predict, but that's also kind of exciting too, because then you're kind of always on your toes of like, ooh, is this going to do well around here? Like I'm not really sure, and
Mm,
it's kind of cool to see what does well where.
yeah. When do you guys release your summer seasonals? Like, does it come out in like, how like, I don't know, is it like a March and April thing for chains or is it, no, it's summer, we can brew this now? Because I know things are different depending on brewery size
Yeah.
and who wants
Um,
what.
from what I remember, I think we started seeing it around April.
Okay, April.
We're not as early as some big breweries that will release,
Mhm.
a fall seasonal when it's still August, because they're trying to get ahead of the market. But yeah, I'd
April
probably say,
pumpkin beers.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love how people in July are like, the pumpkin beer comes out in late July and it's just like the angriest anyone's ever been. But then the flip side is the Christmas beers come out in October and they're like,
Mhm.
Christmas beers, these are great. And I'm like, but
Yeah,
you don't have
Little,
to you don't have to drink them until you're ready,
well,
like
little they know it was actually last year's pumpkin beer that they're releasing early this year. I'm just kidding. I'm
yeah.
just kidding. And let's let Josh answer your
Yes.
question.
Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, actually, I guess my next question would be, so your beer comes out in April. Would you ever
Mhm.
take Shapeless Days since it is just like I've had it before, um, just like a really nice crushable German Pilsner, and then put a different name on it and serve it in like December? Do you think people
No,
would notice, or is it like, I mean,
I
that's a
mean,
cop out. I mean, I know
yeah,
breweries could do that, but
they could. I mean, it's kind of back to consumer knowledge and like consumer education.
mm,
It's about like trusting the product that you're getting from a brewery that has integrity. So
fair.
sure, a lot of breweries could and probably do that, but
Hmm.
we have so many beers in our profile. It's like we'd rather just continue to like tweak existing recipes that we have to continue to further make them better and better, and to just like slap a different label on the same beers. I don't know. I don't feel good about that. So
Okay.
I hope other breweries feel that same way.
Yeah.
Um, Josh, my final question is kind of broad in the subject, I guess. And I know you're more on the brewing side than the marketing side, but how important do you think words are generally to the sale of beer? We talk about summer here, but beer can trigger nostalgic memories or
Mhm.
bring up feelings or so like do you you're a brewer, do you just think, oh, I want to brew with this grain, or do you actually think about the words and the marketing and the feelings you want to evoke in your beers from your beers?
It's I mean it all kind of goes hand in hand. It's like the it's kind of hokey, but it's like we're telling a, even if we're just the ones who are making it, like we're telling a story. Like there's a reason behind these things, at least for me. Like I don't want to just say like, oh, there's a cool new grain, let's try that one out and just name it, I don't know, something. There should be like intent behind
Mhm.
what you're making, because then you tend to care more about it and you become a shepherd for it while it's on its lifespan through through the mash, through fermentation, through packaging, and then it's out in the market, and then it's like, okay, I hope that everything I just put into this, like people receive it and like understand I guess the concept behind it or the story behind it. Not that it needs to be like crazy deep or anything, but I
Mhm.
always feel like brewing with intentionality is where you get the best stuff from, and it helps to, even if you are psyched about a new hop product, like we use a lot of different hop products here, and like there's a reason behind it. It's not just for, oh, it's cost cutting or
Right.
replacing T90 pellets or anything like that. It's like there's a reason that we're doing it, and we hope that the consumer can understand that. And so that's why part of the our social media is a good representation of like, if it's not, because you can only say so much on a can, so it's like representing what the idea is via social media helps to convey that message further. And then if you have different events and things like that that are maybe like focuses on it, it just kind of hammers that point home.
Yeah. So cost cutting Kolsch is not the next beer.
No.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. If people want to
Thanks for
reach
having me
out
on.
to you about anything, do you have the brewery's website or social media?
Yeah, our social media is Threes Brewing, and then we're on threesbrewing.com, and all the info's there. And we have different links to the beers that we have for sale and events that are coming up. We have a lot of events between our spaces, between here at Greenpoint and Governor's Island and Huntington, and the tastings and all kinds of stuff. So there's a full calendar of like different events and music and that kind of stuff that we have going on.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for
Awesome.
joining us today. Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thanks for having me
Josh.
on.
So, Don,
Yes.
What do you think of now when you think of summer beers? Has this changed your perspective?
Yeah, as I mentioned in during the interviews, I am kind of a cynical guy, and I just thought summer was
What?
was
I already said
marketing.
that, but I did.
Yeah, I just thought summer was marketing jargon, but so I was interested to hear like there's actual thought behind this, right? And I like that. That's
I like the collaborative nature of it and
yeah,
and then what you said, friendship of it,
yeah,
like these are the kind of beers where you're outside, you're with the people you care about. Um, you want to reach for something that, not that beer isn't ever not thoughtful, but is has an approach where they know where you are and they want you to enjoy what you're experiencing to the fullest. And I feel like both these breweries really knock it out of the park.
yeah. I'm uh I'm thirsty.
Oh, you were always thirsty.
I'm always thirsty.
Anyway, visit allaboutbeer.com and follow us on social media at allaboutbeer. And again, visit allaboutbeer.com/support to support this show and others. If you have any questions for the experts, email podcast@allaboutbeer.com. That's also the email for feedback, suggestions, or to inquire about supporting the show through advertising. Don, how can people reach out to you?
I am at the Dawn of Beer on X, Threads, Blue Sky, all that sort of stuff, except for whatever reason on Facebook. On Facebook, I am at the Beer Dawn. And then people could drop me an email. I am Dawn at thedawnofbeer.com. How about you, Em?
I am at Pints and Panels on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky, and my website is www.pintsandpanels.com. This show continues only because we have great listeners like you, and because we have great listeners, we can have advertisers. Please send us an email to our sponsors to thank them for supporting this show. Support those who support us. And speaking of, here is a final word from our sponsor.
Need ingredients and supplies that deliver consistent, high quality beer? RahrBSG has you covered. From hops to malt to yeast to unbeatable customer service, they are dedicated to your success. RahrBSG, ingredients for greatness.
This program is brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, where trailblazing runs in the family. From crafting a movement with their iconic pale ale to taking the IPA haze craze nationwide with Hazy Little Thing, it's an adventurous spirit you can taste in every sip. Find your next favorite beer wherever fine beverages are sold. With new brews for every season, there's always something to discover. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, still family-owned, operated, and argued over.
This show is produced by All About Beer. Visit allaboutbeer.com for articles, notes on this show and others, and to connect via the newsletter and social media. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers to summer.
Cheers to summer.
Soon I'll be the queen of summertime. King.